All right. So early on in season three, we see that Cheryl's interest in dark magic is intensifying. Will there be consequences to this? What started as a morbid curiosity, but is kind of a thirst for power.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. I don't know what the writers have in store, but right now she's on a mission to become empowered. And if it means exploring the dark side, all that's fine. I think that she has been held down and held back by men her whole life, and she's done. Once Andy came home and said that she was out of the house and basically threatened her with never being able to see her grandkids again, I think that was the last straw after being rejected by Leland in that horrible way, and her whole past with a-hole men. I think she's on a mission, and power is her goal. It is unfortunately power defined by the white male patriarchy. In other words, just oppress those who are beneath you and to put yourself above. It's not the feminist definition of power, which I think is about lifting others up. So she's going to be seeking some revenge, I think.
Yes, big time. And it'll kind of be nice to see some of it. It's a bittersweet to watch her navigate her way through those waters.
I think it's a love-hate with Cheryl with a lot of people. It's like they're scared of her, they're thrilled by her, they hate her, they love her. I think she's just so much fun to play.
I bet. She's fun to watch, so I can only imagine.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Is Cheryl equipped to handle the full extent of her actions, or will her naivety kind of lead to problems down the line?
So I don't know how naive she is. I think, she is a novice in the occult, yes, the practices of the occult. So yeah, in that sense, she's probably going to be surprised by some things. But I think that there are boundaries that she will not cross. Her daughter and her granddaughters will never be hurt. She is fiercely protective of them. As she explained to Leland in, I think, the last season, when she said, you hurt my granddaughters, and off with the dick. So I think she means business. But sure, I think that, yeah, she'll have some stuff coming her way that she won't expect.
You mentioned that Cheryl, she seeks empowerment and she wants to rise above all that's happened to her. And I think that's a really interesting motivation and storyline. And I was just wondering if audiences can expect to kind of learn more about why Cheryl was seduced by Leland and the dark side as well.
Well, the Kings don't, Robert and Michelle King, they don't really explore character through flashbacks. Mm-hmm. I've just built up a whole backstory for her that I've confirmed with the Kings that I'm, at least on the right track, that she has been, marginalized and kind of a groupie in the rock and roll scene back in the 70s. And she is, as I said, she's done with that. She's done with being made smaller by men. Yeah, so the dark side for Cheryl, I think, is, the doll, Eddie, who she meditates with and burns money and kind of seemingly worships. For her, it's a meditation. It's a kind of reminder to access her higher powers, her maybe her better side, her stronger side. Leland was attractive to her because I think he represented a kind of irreverent, unorthodox relationship that she felt very free with him and uninhibited. And I think he really encouraged her own empowerment. So that was very attractive to her.
Excellent. Early in this season, there is a scene that scared me. But Andy walks in on Cheryl and she appeared to be sleeping, but it looked like a demonic visitation. Is this the last we've seen of her encounters with what appear to be real demons?
So I have to just be honest, I don't believe in real demons. And I think what that scene was all about was Andy sees her, is afraid of her, and sees a demon hanging out at her bed. There's no demon at her bed.
Okay.
There's no monsters. It's that it's in his imagination that he fears her so much. He fears her power. He fears what he's from his point of view is bad influence on his daughters. So yeah, that's all his problem. It has nothing to do with Cheryl, I think.
I love it. I'm good with that. Perfect. She also made the decision to stop seeing Leland last season, rejection, but also just kind of coming into her own. But his influence on her continues to grow. At least that's what it seems like. How will their relationship could be platonic, could just be a working relationship, not strictly romantic, but deepen the rift between her and Kristen?
Yeah, so I promised Kristen, Cheryl promised Kristen that she would never see Leland. So yeah, she has breached that trust. But I think what Cheryl is doing now is using Leland. He rejected her, they were going to get married. He rejected her in the most disgusting, despicable, hurtful way that I think, triggered this kind of revenge, this drive for revenge, in addition to Andy trying to kick her out. So my feeling is that she is using Leland for a job. She needs a place to stay. She needs to be close to her granddaughters. She's using him and pretending to be under his influence. But I think that her ultimate goal, the long game that she is playing, is that she will bring him down along with other men who have crossed her, including Andy. Stay tuned for that. I think I know, no spoilers, but I know she has big plans for Andy.
That's exciting. Okay, good to know. What I found funny is I can see a little bit of Cheryl and her granddaughters in the way that they were also toying with Leland via the app that he was trying to, manipulate them through. They knew it was him. And I just see those little glimpses of, we're going to flip the script on you in them. And I think that's a through line through the women in that family, for sure.
Absolutely. These women, they are, they're really smart, and they are not going to let these asshole men, manipulate them or use them. So I think I think some of Cheryl has creeped into the souls of the granddaughters.
And it's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Up until this point, Cheryl has managed to kind of abide by her own moral code while straddling the line between good and, maybe not necessarily evil yet, but morally ambiguous. Will we ever get to see her cross that threshold, especially this season?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, how many episodes have you seen of season 3?
A handful so far.
Okay. So there's been some boundaries crossed, I think, that you know of, that we can't talk about. Yes. But yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she definitely crosses over the line. She's, a badass.
Yep.
And again, I don't condone her behavior, but I understand it. I don't judge her. I really do understand this rage and this misguided need for revenge. And it gets dark.
Yes. No, her arc is really compelling, because I think it's clear that she is a good person, but she just gets a little bit mixed up in things, and you can't really see it when you're in the middle of things, what you've done. You have to kind of step back and look at it. So
yeah, exactly. And I think that her betrayal of her daughter by doing what she's doing with Leland and other things that she makes sure happens to her daughter's husband, as long as Kristen doesn't know about it, I think that Cheryl can be okay with it, because it's the ends, it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
do I get rid of the husband, or do I never see my family again? So I think Cheryl had a dilemma here, and clearly she opted to get rid of the husband.
No judgment. I'm with
no judgment.
So she is driven by her desire to be a good grandmother, but she does have, this desire and a hunger to empower herself through being a dark magic practitioner. But and you spoke about this a little bit in our previous question, but how is she able to reconcile these two polarities within herself? The nurturing, fun grandmother versus, I'm going to make this decision to potentially, just remove someone from an equation. It's a very conflicting behaviors.
Well, it is. And that's what I love about the character, is that she is so full of conflicting behaviors and complexity. She, bottom line, will not do anything that will hurt her granddaughters. That's the bottom line. However, there are things that she needs to take care of that she feels might be, detrimental to them or to herself. Mm-hmm. I think that she's a survivor, and she's tried to teach her granddaughters to be survivors. Like the advice that she gave Lexus last season about how to deal with a bully. Mm-hmm. She said, just, take the rock, hide it in your fist, and slug her right here on the bridge of the nose. And then you let the rock slip and nobody will know. When I first read that, I thought, what? She's advocating violence. And then I did some research, and I talked to a lot of people, and I talked to the Kings, and it actually can work. With bullies who are unrelenting, mm-hmm. sometimes one hit and it's over.
Yeah.
It's not deadly. It's not going to break her nose, but mm-hmm. maybe a little bruise right there. It can stop bullying for the rest of your life. So I think the advice she gives to her granddaughter is actually sound advice, mm-hmm. especially coming from someone, I think Cheryl, and her backstory, she has been abused. She has been bullied. She has been beaten up. And I think she's had to use her fists. And sometimes in her world, it's not a world that thankfully I've ever had to deal with. Mm-hmm. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite thing about playing Cheryl for the past 3 years? She's certainly gone through a journey, a lot of transformation, and it's been fun to watch from the viewer side.
What's my favorite part, did you say?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I love how funny she is. I love that she's, she just uses humor. She finds things funny. She's curious. She's open. She tries to do good things, but she's driven by, as I said, a kind of need for revenge and rage that I really understand, mm-hmm. that Christine can really understand. So, in a lot of ways, I'm like her. I just stop short of the evil line. And the violent line, yeah.
No, Cheryl, I think especially lately, Cheryl's rage and just her desire to, come into her own power is something that I think resonates with a lot of people, a lot of women, and just a lot of people who have been in similar situations as her. So, no, I appreciate that answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other projects that you're currently working on?
Well, I wrote a play during the pandemic based on my book that was published a few years ago, mm-hmm. which is a collection of, it's sort of a memoir, but it's collection of personal essays. So I wrote a play, and we're going to workshop it at the Berkshire Theater Festival this summer for 10 days, and then have a couple of public readings. So I'm hoping to get a production sometime in the near future of that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Very cool. That is all I have for you today. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I am a big fan of the show as well. So this was great getting to chat with you, your insight, and I think this will help everybody understand Cheryl a little bit more as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I don't live tweet, but I respond to some tweets. And just last night, this one woman was saying, "Oh, I feel so sad for her because she's, under the influence of Leland, and oh, she's such a victim." And I wrote back, said, "Oh no, 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 no. I'm glad that she thinks that. I hope Leland thinks that. Yep. But I think there's a much longer game in mind here for Cheryl, and that she will ultimately prevail."
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the one thing anyone should avoid is underestimating that entire family.
Exactly. The women in this family cannot be underestimated ever again. And Cheryl will make sure of that.
Absolutely.